What's up guys, Houndish here. Today, jumping in with more Destiny 2 news. Bungie are very much in the marketing phase for Renegades, I guess. We do get a little bit of new gameplay, kind of a trailer really for Renegades, showing off some of the ability stuff in the Lawless frontier, so we'll talk about that. Additionally, it's time for the sandbox preview, or another sandbox preview for Renegades and changes that we'll get for the next season. This one focusing on ability tuning, so we'll cover all of that. And Bungie have sent out a survey to a bunch of players, not everyone, but they're asking about the kinds of content that we'd like to see in the future. It does mention things like a return of SRL and some other fan favorite bits of content from the past that may indicate Bungie would consider bringing them back, I guess. So we'll cover that too. If you guys enjoyed the video, a rating very much helps us out, but now let's get into it. So let's initially mention this little bit of a trailer for Renegades. These are the ones they're kind of posting on social media, so not a full-blown trailer, but it shows off the Lawless Frontier activity, where of course we'll be going in and extracting loot, defeating enemies, and potentially being invaded by other players, which will be curious as well. And this video shows one of the abilities. So firstly, we see a cool animation with the kind of coins. These are what we can deploy the abilities with. And it spawns in a walker. These also have additional abilities. So we can see it throws out kind of a grenade. Obviously, it's a stasis thing that freezes a bunch of very conveniently grouped up enemies and then takes them out. These Fallen as well are part of the new faction that will feature in the Lawless Frontier. So just a little bit more glamorous gameplay, I guess. Nothing too mind-blowing, but cool to see a bit more of it. And then the other thing, before we get into the sandbox previews, but the game post shared here, Destiny 2 is considering adding Sparrow Racing League, unvaulted campaigns, NPC sidekicks, new subclass abilities, a Gambit mode, and more. This has been revealed by a new survey, so select players received this survey, one of the email surveys, and as we can see from the article inside of it, Bungie asks a long list of potential features to be added to Destiny 2, specifically asking players to rank them. Some of the options are small quality of life ideas, others would fundamentally change how D2 works. So one of the questions, please rank the following potential features to be added to Destiny 2 in terms of their potential to improve your enjoyment of the game. Firstly, new stasis and strand abilities. That would definitely be nice. It's interesting that they zero in specifically on those. Otherwise, gear tier enhancement, the ability to upgrade the tier of a weapon. This is something Bungie have said they're already going to be doing, I think, at some point next season. It also includes a new simplified portal scoring system, new void melee abilities, and power prestiging, the ability to reset power to 10 and basically start over again, presumably there. So some interesting ones. I'm all on board for any kind of new ability, especially at this point. Gear tier enhancement as well. Obviously, we should be getting that regardless. And then a simplified portal scoring system I wouldn't complain about. Give me your thoughts. Otherwise, it also references, in terms of specific pieces of content, a Sparrow Racing League event or playlist, which is a very specific reference there. Raid night, a day of the week where players can play the featured raid for extra rewards. A new Gambit mode or Gambit event. New difficulty tiers to legacy raids and dungeons. Plus it mentions a raid rotator, adding old campaigns and other activities to the portal, rotating portal activities each week, daily and weekly competitive PvE events, new PvP modes like Combined Arms, which of course would not be a brand new mode, but it's interesting. Some players would like to see old campaigns come back, others would say, hey, why are you focusing on this? We've already had it in the past. I believe the kind of raid night idea, Bungie have already said they're targeting doing something along those lines, and then a Sparrow Racing League event. I mean, for me, everybody says it, or nearly everybody. I personally really enjoyed SRL. I'm surprised we haven't had it back already, to be fair, but that's the survey. It's interesting because it indicates Bungie would consider these pieces of content. So I guess off the back of it, we can add, as a community, feedback on those particular items since Bungie are already interested in them. Again, share your thoughts below. Next up though, let's get on to Bungie's blog from today, outlining some sandbox changes for Renegades. I was actually mistaken at the start of the video. I think I said ability changes, but this is going to be for exotic armor. Bungie do add, the next Dev Insight article will preview ability changes for Renegades, so it is still coming soon. They start with Hunter exotics though, and for Graviton Forfeit, it now grants improved grenade, melee, and class ability recharge rates for a moderate duration each time you become invisible. The effect stacks up to 3 times, and the effect time does not deplete when you are invisible, and at 3 stacks of the buff. Successive triggers additionally grant a portion of Void Overshield. So Bungie have shifted this entirely into kind of an invis killstreak exotic. Give me your thoughts about it. Otherwise, for Omnioculus, they say granting the effects of Beyond the Veil to allies now also starts their health and shield regen, and this only applies to allies and not to the hunter themselves. And as they say, they're leaning Omnioculus into a more potent support role to allow hunters to fill in a bit of that more selfless fireteam role. Otherwise, for Lucky Raspberry, for Arc Bolt grenade ability, they say, obviously with this tying to that exotic a lot, the grenade itself has increased projectile lifetime of chain projectile. This helps hit consistency on moving targets that are near the outer edge of the chain range. It also now activates 0.1 seconds faster after the initial center sweep, and they've increased the max chain range of the initial chain from 7 meters to 10. For the exotic itself, it now always applies Jolt on Arc Bolt grenade hits, and it returns Arc Bolt energy on any application of the Jolt debuff or triggering the Jolt chains on a target already affected by the debuff. So that actually sounds pretty good right there. Orpheus Rig though, pretty basic. They've increased the super duration from 16 seconds to 20 seconds. And there'll be more details about the super change specifically in the upcoming ability inside article. But for Gemini Jesters, they've increased disorient duration against players from 0.5 to 1 second. And on top of applying Disorient, Misdirection also removes opposing players' HUD for 2 seconds, plus they've increased the Disorient duration against PvE enemies from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. Moving over to Titans though, on Arbor Warden, they say picking up 3 orbs of power enhances your next Barricade, and the enhanced Barricade spawns a Y pattern of 3 of your equipped barricades on Barricade detonation. They add that this does work with barricade modifications like Drenger's Lash or Storm's Key. So again, it sounds like a decent rework there, as Arbor Warden really wasn't seeing a lot of use. Give me your thoughts about it. On Doom Marchers though, they're increasing the maximum chain count from 4 to 7, and each chain hit now grants 2 bolt charge stacks, which will be 3 with the fragment, and glaive melees can now also trigger the chain, which is going to make Doom Marchers much better in PvE. Otherwise, on Ursa Furiosa, they say it should now properly gain super energy if damage is blocked while the player has an overshield. On top of that, super energy stored is no longer scaled based on enemy difficulty, and the refund meter fill rate is doubled at power activities, or in at power activities. Otherwise, super energy refund meter fill rate is buffed by about 13.6% in -40 power activities. So adjusting the super refund on that one. Then for second chance, they've added the fact that it spawns void breaches on shield throw final blows and grants shield throw melee energy on picking up a void breach. So that'll be a nice synergy. Plus the Sentinel Shield super range attack now also weakens with the exotic equipped, and they fixed a bug where anti-barrier shield throw melee would not bounce to more than 2 targets. Depending on how potent that is, it could be pretty good for Sentinel Titans. Otherwise, on Armamentarium, it now grants 10% grenade energy on weapon final blows, which is already a good change. Plus it reloads the player's equipped weapon when using a grenade ability. Lion Rampants is basic, it now allows shooting while ADS when in lift. Then on Peacekeepers, they're increasing the mobility bonus from 25 to 30, and they've re-added ability to swap load SMGs. And they say they'd accidentally removed that when Edge of Fate dropped, so it's back, which is good. Finally though, for the Warlocks, on Nothing Manacles, they initially give a reminder of the buff to scatter grenades that we had a little while back. So they create more Seekers, and they've increased damage and the Seeker lifetime. For the exotic armor though, it now spawns an additional Scatter Seeker on scatter grenade kills, and the effect can change, so paired up with scatter grenades in general and the recent changes, that's going to be really nice. For Briarbinds though, they say it now needs fewer kills to max out the Briarbind's Void Soul damage bonus, and they've decreased to 4 from 6. Additionally though, Void Soul now does more damage based on the amount of time it has been deployed on target, so it's up to 30% more damage after 10 seconds. On Storm Dancer's Brace though, they say while Storm Trance is equipped, it now grants Bolt Charge for arc ability hits when amplified, and Storm Trance damage now builds on hits instead of kills, and they've increased the max count to compensate, and it now needs 30 hits to cap, but the top end damage bonus is unchanged. It should essentially be more rewarding to use though, by the sounds of it. Getting on to Winter's Guile here though, quite a few changes, so melee and finisher final blows grant bonus melee damage. Melee final blows grant 1 stack, and finisher final blows grant 3 stacks. The maximum is 10 stacks for 4 times melee damage, and stacks are lost 1 at a time, but last 4.5 seconds. Once you reach 10 stats though, you immediately gain 1 melee charge and enter Warlord's Rage when you activate your melee ability. And while Warlord's Rage is active, you regain dramatically increased melee regen speed, faster melee speed, with the melee damage bonus increasing to 5 times, and it lasts for a total of 10 seconds. So I'm curious to see what that will be like, but for the Matiadoxia, I still don't know if I'm saying that one correctly after all this time, but hitting a target with 5 Needle Storm super projectiles will now also activate the Suspending Burst, and the burst caused by the super deals radically increased damage to all targets caught in the radius. This burst should allow Needle Storm to feel like a damage contender with the likes of Curious Thunder Crash. So again, could be pretty good. Dawn Chorus though, they say Daybreak and Dawn Chorus damage is increased by 5%. And they have also increased the total scorch stacks. So there we go. Those are the exotic armor changes. Most of them sounding pretty good, to be fair. Obviously, there are some standouts. So give me your thoughts below. For the moment, that is what we have to round up today. So we will additionally, like we said, get the abilities preview soon. That will be weapons done, armor done, abilities done. And yeah, I guess we might get that next week on top of Twids and things, with us now being less than 2 weeks away from Renegades technically. So share your thoughts in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, a rating very much helps us out. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day.